When I first started in practice, I thought practice growth would be a matter of showing up every day, taking plenty of CE, and treating patients and team members well. I didn't give it much more thought than that. Looking back on those days, my vision of practice growth looked like this. I thought growth would be a straight line. I assumed the longer and harder I worked, the more practice growth would follow. For a while, well, I was right. My early practice growth was fueled by acquiring new clinical skills. My early strategies for marketing worked out well, so I had plenty of new patients. This led to more procedure repetitions, which developed my hand speed and sharpened our four-handed dentistry skills. As my skills grew, so did my confidence. That, combined with excellent clinical continuing education and mentoring relationship, practice growth continued. Back then, I saw no end in sight for practice growth. My early rapid practice growth fed a giddy optimism that resulted in moving to the wealthy side of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I built a facility 4 times the size of my original building, hiring in-house lab technicians and buying all the high-tech stuff dentistry had to offer. I stepped up my marketing, hired a full-time associate, bought a new house, and became a sought-after A-circuit speaker on clinical and practice management principles for high-end implant and restorative dentistry. I was proud of my accomplishments, and I knew things would only get rosier if I kept my foot on the gas. Now, what I didn't know was that I was depleting my capacity to manage all the irons I had in the fire. I was running out of energy and skill to manage all the burgeoning bubble of complexity I have created. My straight line practice growth continued for a while, but the bubble popped and I didn't see it coming. It took several months to see it. Collections, although good, became flat month after month. The high interest rate environment at the time created constant headwinds against profitability. By the end of my second year in Charlotte, I realized that the complexity I created countered my energy and talent to grow. Looking back on it now, my early practice growth curve looked like this. My growth reached a plateau resistant to my efforts to grow beyond it. Accompanying the growth plateau was a relentless increase in stress. It took some time, but the ever-present stress signaled me that I needed to rethink my future. My story is the same story for many dentists building solo practices. It's exponentially true for entrepreneurial dentists attempting to buy or build multiple practices. Here's the dark side of practice growth. All growth feeds complexity. Complexity reaches a point of stalling growth. Many authors have referred to this point as the ceiling of complexity. The ceiling of complexity refers to the point where you reach your maximum capacity to handle complexity. It's the point where the current approach or resources are no longer sufficient to manage the increasing demands or challenges. So, here's your warning. If you're building a practice or practices, expect to reach your ceiling of complexity. The longer you beat your head against it and don't change your approach or acquire new resources, the more likely you'll suffer. Our next Homoly video lesson will discuss what it takes to break out of the growth plateau, reduce stress, and continue to grow. If you missed my first lesson, check it out on my YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. Having patients accept your care is essential to practice growth and career satisfaction. I suggest participating in my 2-day live workshop, Mastering High Dollar Case Acceptance. You can read all about it by clicking the links below. Hope to see you there.